I'm glad that we're going to have this conversation. Hashtag Her Story started about a year and a half ago. In the fall of 2021, we decided to do a documentary. It started off well, but then Lamar decided, I want to do a show. He said, you speak well, you're a people person, you're smart, you know how to, I don't know, get along with people. But my reason for starting Hashtag Her Story was because we as women have stories that we don't share. And I am divorced, and I would always mention this because I know that my story would be able to help someone. One day, everyone, you will hear my story, and this is not about me today, but because I was vulnerable and opened up and let some walls down that I had built up, I shared my story and I was able to help others. It was actually a burden lifted off of me. So today, last month we spoke about hair care and just celebrating women who have their own products and how it has helped my hair, my child's hair. Today we're going to talk about women's wellness, women's mental health. And I've never met Anais in person, but I know we have a mutual friend who admires her and he talks about her all the time and started following you, Anais, and I admire you because I see growth from the time I started following you and just the way you present yourself, your educational background, and just what you're doing for the community. I want you to share your story, so I am going to bring Anais on. Let's drop some hearts for her. And her daughter, her last daughter, she has 3 children. Her last daughter name is Anais. So I think that's pretty cool that I'm here with them, and I'm now going to connect with you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Thank you so much for accepting this invitation to come on live with me to talk about things that women don't talk about, and I appreciate, again, you just saying yes. And, not everyone is willing to, because I wanted it to be like a group conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And people are shy. They back down and, maybe they don't understand once they hear mental health or mental wellness, they like, oh, I ain't talking about that. But, I think it's important, especially women of color as ourselves. And for those who balance work life, personal life, so I want you to tell our audience, how do you do it? I can say how I do it. Somebody asked me the other day, how do you do it? And I'm like, but God, I don't know. So I want you to introduce yourself and just tell us a little about yourself, and then we'll go into a conversation.
All right. So my name is Anais Holland-Rudd. I've been an attorney for about 5 years now, 5 long years. From Loyola, Chicago. I went to Baruch undergrad, and I started my career off as a prosecutor, and after doing that for 3 years, I went to toxic tort, and basically products allegedly that my client made people sick, and I had my client.
Got it.
Now I transitioned into financial service litigation, so mortgage foreclosures and anything involving the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Truth in Lending Act, so anything financial you can think of, or consumer protection. That's so now my clients are financial entities, and it's been a journey to get here, just trying to find my niche. And so keeping my head above water, because you know what, I can say I'm not above water all the time. So it's sometimes it's really rough. I've had really dark moments. I think when I took the bar, I probably gained 20 pounds. When I left law school, I think I gained 45 pounds.
Wow.
And I'm just functioning. I wasn't wearing nice clothes. I was just wearing sweatpants all the time and slides and Crocs. So one day I looked at myself and I'm like, I don't have any clothes that fit me. My skin is breaking out.
Right.
My hair is coming out. A lot of it's been a really long journey, and I think I'm one of those high functioning depressive people.
Okay.
So a lot of times I'll be texting you and I might be at brunch with you, but I probably went home and cried later, or I cried before I came out. So just trying to show up for people all the time, it got really exhausting. And I remember there was this one moment a year and a half ago, I was I'm afraid to go outside. I had to call my therapist and I'm afraid to get out the bed because I don't want to be near the fire escape and I don't want to be in a street with a bunch of cars. So I'm very scared right now. And I had to have this conversation too with my best friend. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, life does not look like this for me. Like,
Right.
the article yesterday about Chesley Chris, this attorney who's the same age as me, and she jumped out of a window. She was Miss USA, Miss North Carolina, Emmy Award
Yeah.
nominated broadcaster. She went to a good law school, JD MBA, and she was depressed the whole time.
Yeah.
And I would ever know because I'm like, she's beautiful and like she shows up all the time.
Yeah.
And I had to say to my friend, I'm like, yo, like she was like, you know, Anais, we want you to be here, but I'm like, being here don't look like this
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do to figure out like how to function like this? Because you can't function in anxiety. It's not like, and it's not necessarily something that causes it, but there's a lot of things that trigger it, and that includes people too.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm not as out with a lot of people. Like I've been doing a lot of stuff for myself lately, just going to concerts, etc.
Yeah.
Because I like dealing with anxiety, and I don't like how some people have treated me since I became an attorney. Just like I feel like it's to the point like people have invited me places just to ask me questions, like they didn't actually want me there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
wow.
Not saying like all of my friends do that, but I've been triggered so much by it. So just trying to like figure out how to be like super social again, and just like kind of getting back to like how Anais used to feel before the lawyer. And it's been very frustrating. Like being a prosecutor, I remember like I was going through a really bad breakup and I was on call. And I would like cry in between search warrants. I'd be like, okay, I gotta go to the bathroom before we go to court. And I'd be like crying in the bathroom. Okay, Anais, you get it together. And then I'd be like, okay, let's do it. But I'm like, this is not function. Like you can't function like this all the time.
Can't function broken. Yeah.
Very, very stressful. And like maybe a handful of people knew how stressed I was, because I was like, I'm embarrassed to talk about how stressed I am.
Right. Yeah.
Because people just think like, Anais, you got it together. Or, you know, you got the money for this, you make a good salary, and I'm like, no, I'm stressed out. Like I don't care what it looks like on paper. I'm stressed out.
Yeah, some people think that's where your happiness is, but in all honesty, you know, I can totally relate to even that. Like just before you got on, I was saying I never used to share my story, and I deal with situations alone.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my sister's like, you're not okay, and I'm like, I'm fine, you know, I'm good, you know. And just the willingness to, like you said, doing it alone sometimes is what we have to do. Some people suffer in silence, but some people also heal in silence. And it's okay to not be okay. And when you recognize it, like you said, you reached out to your therapist. And I'm glad you said that word, because if in therapy, for some people, it's like, why do I need to sit and talk to a stranger? Because number one, and I was talking to my coworkers about, you're not judged, and you just feel a willingness to let it all out. And I would say a professional therapist. A lot of people, like some friends or people we know, try to be a therapist and really no.
You're burdened with your friends.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like we all have our own issues. And oftentimes I'm like, you know what? I will want my friends to know what's going on, but they're going through some shit too.
Yeah.
And we're all going, especially last year. I'm just like, I spent a month of my life in the hospital last year. And every time I hit up a friend, I'm like, damn, you're going through something. Damn, you're going through something. Well, it's like, okay, well, you don't have to come see me. It's okay.
Right.
Because I feel like I'm dealing with myself and then trying to be there for other people and then trying to concentrate on this. I'm like, I really should take the rest of the year off. I didn't work for like 3 months last year and no one knew.
Right. Right.
Like, I'm like, I cannot. And I'm like, and you know what? Now I'm just like, when I become rich, because I'm speaking into existence, I'm taking a year off.
I hear you.
Like
take a sabbatical.
Focus on what I want to do.
Sure.
Because I'm like, I go back to work eventually. I'm not rich yet.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's stressful. I'm like, you see all these people take sabbaticals, and I'm like, and this is why they do it, because I'm like, the profession will kill you. Lawyers have like the highest suicide rate, and a lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
It's like lawyers and dentists.
Wow. Dentists even. Mm-hmm. Wow. And while we're speaking, if you guys have questions, drop it in the comments and I'll try to grab them. But that part I didn't know. That is something I definitely need to, because I do know a dentist. She actually just opened her own practice out in Maryland. So that is something we should definitely touch base on. That, you know, a lot of people see these careers as, yes, you get, whether it's 6 figures, I don't know the exact numbers, but I tell people money is not everything. It doesn't bring happiness. You know, so even in the midst of all of that, even you mentioned being hospitalized, how do you, let's say, function? Is it self-care? I love getting massages and facials and spending me time, but how do you handle it? You know, some people pray, they go to church. Some people
I
read.
love church. I believe in prayer and meditation like 100%.
Right.
That's like the first thing I do every morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I think, like getting a closer relationship with God. That's something that I've been doing. I know a lot of people aren't religious, so that's not something they do.
Right.
But I believe in God in therapy. Like I go to therapy Monday, 6:00. If I'm not, I'm like, hey, Tuesday, 6:00. Like
Right.
going more consistently, because oftentimes like, oh, you know what, I'm okay. And then you haven't been okay for 4 weeks and now your therapist is busy.
Right.
Because they
Now, question for you. Do you prefer virtual or in person, or does it matter in regards to that?
I prefer virtual now because I'm not driving to Valley Street.
Okay.
But it's like easier to get an appointment because it's like if you're only available in person on Sunday, Sunday's my day.
Right. Yeah.
So Sunday is always my day. Like unless it's something very, very important or it's like a very, very, very close friend, I'm not coming out on Sunday.
I hear you.
I'm not coming to your birthday. I'll take you out to dinner later. I'm not doing it because I'm like, I need a time for myself to do this. I go to the gym a lot. Oh, I see one of my favorite stores join. So I should talk about, she is always in the gym and I'm like, I can go too. And I get why she does it because I'm like, I need to go to the gym and like calm myself down. And
it's an outlet.
So I go to the gym like 5-6 times a week. I was in the gym today for 2 hours, yesterday for 2 hours. And I don't like post pictures of me in the gym because I'm like, you know, it's my me time. I don't need to like share that with anyone that I'm in the gym. So I do that a lot. I believe in journaling.
Okay.
Like,
I'm glad you said that.
It's very hard. Like you'll be crying all over the keyboard. I can't handwrite because like my handwriting is so bad. I probably can't even read my handwriting half the time. But just typing out my emotions. And then another thing I've been doing is like learning how to set boundaries with people. I'm just trying to do it in a more healthy manner because oftentimes boundaries for me has looked like I'm not talking anymore. And you allow people to you because you never told them you don't like it.
Right.
So now, you know what? I'm trying to like adjust and figure out how to set those boundaries because honestly, like I've always been like this, like I'll just cut you off. Like if I find like I shouldn't have to talk to you about this, but now that I'm older, I'm like, you know what? There were things that people have talked to me about and they probably felt they didn't have to talk to me about it. So I'm just trying to like figure that out. And I go to a lot of concerts by myself. Like I like rap music a lot. I'm a diehard Weezy fan. I went to that concert myself. I'm like, y'all not gonna spend this money on these tickets. I'm not bringing nobody with me. And my friends was laughing at me. I'm like, no, I had on some sneakers.
I hear you.
And I'm like, I'm going to see 50 Cent's concert. I've been to probably like 3-4 concerts this year so far. Most of them by myself.
You had a good time, you, yourself, and I love that.
I make sure I get my hair done. I like pedicures. Sometimes I want a spa pedicure. I don't want a pedicure today. I want to see peaches and apricots and leaves in the water.
I hear you.
Stuff like that. And it's little things, but I'm just like, I have to like I budget in my monthly budget self-care.
Yeah.
Like
even that too. I was on a Clubhouse.
Yes.
You know Clubhouse. So ever since the pandemic, I've connected with quite a few people through Clubhouse. And one of the groups, I actually sent you the link on Black Girls Talk. And one thing that I would say we started to do every month, I set an alert on my calendar. It says self-care day. And I'm born on February 21st. So the 21st of every month, I have to make sure, and I've been slacking as we do with life and, we get busy, but that day is set aside, whether it's an at-home pedicure, manicure, a facial, something outdoors, but it's about, I have children, I'm a single parent now, but it's about me on that day. And that's something we need to do. You budget it in. I have to remind myself, look, today or tomorrow is self-care day. Take care of yourself. And that's something we definitely need to do as women. I even started buying myself flowers because I don't know when I'll get flowers and I can't smell them when I'm dead. So why not? Why not celebrate us? And I love the fact that you've been going to concerts and events alone because we need to appreciate ourselves. If no one else is going to appreciate us, who else but ourselves?
And eating.
And God.
That's another thing. I feel like my stress and anxiety also had to do with like my relationship with food. It's like I'm crying today, right? Or I might have cried and like drove to work, or cried and I muted my camera in a deposition or something like that. And I'm like, I can't be eating like fried chicken and waffles and like cheese grits and like all that stuff and stuff. Like my family's from the South, so I'm like, I can't keep eating like this and then be like, oh, I'm gonna feel better today. Like I noticed like the thing, like if you're feeling down, like eating a pizza is not gonna make you feel better.
Right.
Like it's not. So like just like trying to learn about food and like things that I can put in my body that'll make me feel better. Like a salad will make you feel better than that slice of pizza long term, because it becomes a habit. Like just trying to figure out like, what do I do when I'm stressed? And that was a hard conversation to have with myself as well, because I'm just like what did I just eat today? And I didn't leave my house at all. Like $50 in Uber Eats every day. It's like, it was just so crazy to me. And I'm like, why am I not doing this? Like, why am I not cleaning my apartment? My space looks crazy. I don't want to do laundry. I just want to sit in my bed. I don't want to clean. I paid somebody to clean, and then she was annoying me because of how she was cleaning, but like I didn't have the energy to do it myself. So it's just like just trying to figure out like what makes me happy, and like clutter does not make me happy. It really actually stresses me out a lot more. So I feel like I'm messy, like sort of by nature. Like I'm a little unorganized, but I find myself always cleaning something now, because I'm like, this space that I'm in, this pile of books and stuff, like I can't find my AirPods. I went and bought a pair of AirPods, and then I'm like, a week later, I'm like, oh, I found my AirPods, because I'm not in my space. So just making sure like my space feels good. Like I drop peppermint oil on the floor. I open up the window. I get some fresh air. Like I go for walks sometimes. Just trying to figure out like, why am I feeling down today? And also in denial that like, okay, Anais, you cried and it's not okay. Or like, it is okay. It felt good. But crying feel good all the time. So just figuring out like, okay, when I feel this type of anxiety, like what do I need to do? Because I think a lot of like high functioning professional Black women specifically, like we have imposter syndrome. Like we never feel like that, like we're doing a good job. Like we never feel like we should belong there. And that's very stressful in your job too. Because I'm like, you know, I'm the only Black person in a lot of spaces that I've been in since I've been practicing law, period. Like it's
Before
not
you continue, for those that may not know what imposter syndrome is, can you define it and then continue?
It's like not feeling that satisfaction internally, and often feeling like you're like a fraud in this presence. You don't believe in presence. And it's like you could be more qualified than everybody in the room, but no one in the room looks like you. So I feel like a lot of times with Black people, like imposter syndrome is like a secondhand emotion, because we don't have anyone in the space that I could relate to. Like they talk about rock music, and I'm like, I don't know not one of these songs. If I told y'all what I listen to, y'all be judging me. So it's just it gets stressful, and I'm just like, why do I feel uncomfortable in this space with these men, and they asking me questions, and I trained y'all because y'all not asking me. My boss told me their cases because y'all need help. But I feel like I'm an imposter, and I feel that, and I'm like, why do I keep allowing myself to feel this way all the time? It's difficult, and I'm like, yeah, I know I have these credentials. Like, yes, I have litigation experience. Yes, I had this award. Yes, my boss said good job. I don't care how many emails you send out to the firm, how many good job, Anais. Wow, Anais, you're a superstar already, Anais. I still be like, am I a superstar? What if I'm not a superstar next time? So am I not a superstar anymore because I messed up something, or I need to ask a question? Am I asking too many questions? Like, I found myself apologizing, like, sorry to bother you. And I'm like, no, I'm not sorry to bother you, because y'all bother me about cases. So like, why do I feel insecure when I have a question to ask? So I just be functioning. And I think like people have said, like, you know, you carry it well. Like you had these cases and you didn't sweat one bit. I didn't sweat. I cried. Like I closed the office door and I was sitting. I'm just like, it's me and one attorney with 400 cases, and I don't know this law, and I have to figure it out. And I'm like, no, I'm sweating a lot, but she didn't think I sweat, and I'm like, but I still feel like even her saying that I didn't sweat one bit, like I'm glad she didn't see that. But then I'm like, well, what if I did sweat and she noticed it? Like,
what then?
Different? Are you gonna like? Are you
not qualified enough? Or
So just like second guessing my emotions at work constantly. Like I know I do a good job, but I still be like, take a deep breath. And sometimes I my computer and come back to it. And I know I'm not supposed to do that all the time, but I'm like, emails are slow. I'm gonna go to the gym right now. It's just too like, I also feel like a lot of these professions, like they don't really make it a place for us to fit either. Like some places do care about diversity, but a lot of places don't. And it's just like, you know, because we've always had to figure it out, I think that people assume that we're just going to figure out and we don't need any sort of assistance. And that is very stressful.
Right.
Very, very stressful. I'm like, why is my hair falling out?
Right.
Like my hair's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
my setting, like I'm like, what is going on? And
Yeah.
it'll look nice today. I'm just like, my hair's like, in my mind, I'm just like, I do.
Right.
I don't like folding. Like that's how I felt. Like my edges are coming out. Like I'm looking at it. And then people like to remind you like when you're not looking okay. And I'm just like, hey, like, can you just say something more positive? Because if you're not going to say something that's like positive or like inspiring or like helping me, I don't really want to hear it.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I have a question for you. With this level of stress that began, I would say 5 years ago, what was life before becoming an attorney or a prosecutor?
I was having a lot of fun.
Okay.
Not have fun now, but I was having like, you know, that college fun. Like I'm on a budget, but like we still figuring out like we're gonna get to the club when it opens, so we don't have to pay the fee. Like that type
Yeah.
of. So it just having like a lot of just like random fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just think sometimes when you level up, everyone can't come with you. So the fun that people who I used to could have fun with now, I'm like, if you're doing those same things, I can't have fun with you anymore.
Yeah. Do you find time to travel with your schedule?
Yes.
You do.
I try to take like 2 trips a year. I went to Puerto Rico by myself last year.
Okay.
And then after solo travel, I'm trying to figure out like how to travel with others now.
Yeah.
Because solo travel is a really good thing for me, but I do try to travel. I'm trying to think what else I used to do before I was a lawyer. I used to party a lot more.
Okay.
I was always outside, no matter what. Like I always like, oh, we're going to this party. We're going to 3 parties. Right. Or we're going to drive up. Oh, this person's having a barbecue. I was always outside. And then when I used to come back from law school, like on break, I didn't tell anybody. Or if I was just like, if I just came to visit New York, I didn't tell anybody. I'm like, I don't have the bandwidth to be outside right now.
Yeah.
Just figuring that out. But some of the things I still like enjoy doing. I just can't do it with the same type of people anymore, unfortunately.
Of course. And that's hard for a lot of people to even realize. You know, last Sunday, the pastor, the preacher that was there, he basically said, you know, when you get to a certain level, you don't even have to worry about letting those people go. They're going to step back because even them realize like, oh, I can't meet her where she's at. And that's just the way God kind of orders things in regards to who belongs. I always say, whether it's for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, you would know who those people are. And again, some people fall off for a reason because you can't be on that level and they're doing the same old thing. Like my dad would say, oh, we're from Trinidad, and I went back to Trinidad and I see the same guy from 35 years ago on the same corner. And I'm like, how? You know?
Or people get jealous and they just don't want to call it jealousy, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're a lawyer now? You can't do XYZ? Nah, I can't have stuff to lose now. Like, I'm not going to be like assistant district attorney involved in a drive-by or assistant district. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but like, picked up the DUI. Like, no, I can't do that. Like, it just makes me nervous. And I think a lot of times, like, when you're doing things that other people are not doing, they're not really happy for you. And that was something else that I experienced. Like, before I went to law school, it's just like, I used to go to my best friend's house to use her laptop to study from my house. Like, I used to apply to law school at her apartment or her house. Or I would take her laptop and bring it to my house. And like that kind of support I needed, everyone didn't really like. There are some people who's like, oh my God, I got to law school finally. Like, because I got a lot of no's when it was stressing me out. I'm like, I have to go to law school. I already took a year off. And when I finally did it, and I like that breath of like that fresh air that I got when I finally got into a school, it's like, I'm so happy and you're not basking in this happiness for me.
Right.
And that made me not want to talk to you anymore. Like, seriously, it was a couple of people. I'm like, this was so important to me since you know me and you don't really care.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It hurt my feelings. And maybe I could have went about setting a boundary, but for me, it was just like, no, I got to cut you off. Because that hurt my feelings. Like, having you in my life at this point, that's hurting my feelings. And I couldn't do that. So so as you can see, I'm like a lot more emotional than I might seem. But now I'm like, I'm not hiding my emotions anymore. Like, I'm not okay with this. If this is what this friendship or relationship, I don't know, intimate relation, whatever you want to call it, if this is what that looks like for you, I can't function like this with you.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself in 5 years in regards to your career, mental wellness, travel? How do you see yourself balancing it all? And are you able, like, you know, I'm really big on support, even doing this platform. Like, I love to see women win. I love to see men win, you know, men, you know, not forgetting them. But I love to see us win. I love to see us supporting each other. I love mentoring youths in regards to what you went through for these 5 years plus. Where do you see yourself in 5 years mentoring others, you know, that are new on this same path?
I like to speak a lot. So I've been trying to do like a lot more speaking engagements lately. So if there's a school, a panel, whatever it is, I probably jump on an opportunity to speak. So eventually, like, I would like to be like a paid speaker, like someone that's try, like, you want me at this college, you want me at this law school. I want to be like the attorneys who tried George Floyd's case. I'm not George Derek Chauvin's case. They weren't prosecutors, all of them. They were like called to do that case. Like, I want people to call me to do high profile. I'm not in a space where I'm ready to stop arguing. I like to litigate. I love it. As much as it's stressful, I love it. So I would like to be one of those attorneys that are working on those high profile cases. Like, you Google it in the news, like, I want my name. Like, you know how everyone knows who Johnny Cochran is? Like, everyone knows who Anais Holland-Rudd is.
Household name. I hear you.
I would like to be in a space where, like, I want to get married, I want to have a family, and I see myself like speaking at like a law school graduation, and like my husband and my children in the front seat, like, watching me. Like, that's kind of how
drop some hearts. I love that.
And so, and I really do enjoy speaking. So panels, I don't know if I necessarily want to work for myself one day. I'm not in that space just yet, but I kind of just want opportunities to flow to me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to be like, no, I can't do that. I have another engagement. Like, that's where I just want that to flow to me, the happiness to flow to me, the peace to flow with me. And I don't want to be unhappy with all this wealth. Like, I don't want that. I would like to have everything. I know everything can't be great all the time. You're not going to be happy all the time. But if I can be happy some of the time or a lot of the time with the things that I still want to accomplish, like, I think a lot of times Black women, we feel like we can't have everything, and I can. Yeah. I can have anything. I can have everything.
Yes.
I want everything. And I do mentor students from Baruch College, like students that are interested in applying to law school. But I would like to do that on a higher level. I would like to actually have more women to mentor.
Okay.
I have a list. We are like really, we're not in the profession. Like, we're really not. And it's and I know other professions are the same way. It's just we're just not represented. Yeah. In that way. And I'm like, I want people to get used to seeing Black women here. Yeah. That's something that's important to me.
I love that.
Travel a lot more.
Somebody said they're going to be screaming, "That's my sister." It's all coming for you. Yeah, everything that you said, it's already done. You just, it's happening. So the husband, the children, the calls. I need Anais Holland-Rudd on this case, you know, and I'll fly you out, and all of that is coming to you. And like you said, we need to be represented. And again, this is a platform that I think even others that may have never even heard of who you are or never seen your face on a flyer before. This is the beginning of even something great. I mean, we are a production company. We want to use Instagram as a platform, but we want to do live recordings where we can submit it to Netflix and have just a bunch of us on the platform speaking and sharing and encouraging and motivating, because we got it, you know, and we're never, and now I'm in a space, I was working from home for 2.5 years, and now I'm in a space where I am the only Black, and not just Black. I have locks and I dress funky. I went to work with these earrings yesterday. They're probably looking at me like, oh my God, you know, like, what is she doing? You know, but it's even that, like, trying to fit in. But my encouragement for women, and even for you, keep speaking on it. Keep being, you know, brave and bold and beautiful, because when we speak out, we help others. And we might not even understand where, for us, we might just be ordinary people, but someone will hear you like, oh my God, that was extraordinary. She's like extraordinary, you know? And I want us to continue this. And even when you started speaking, you mentioned, I forgot the pageant, the lady who, like USA, yeah. You know, she committed suicide, and I heard her mom speak. I think something I was watching, it might have been Miss Universe this year. Her mom was on the platform. They gave her an award, but she didn't talk. She didn't share anything. You know, I lost a god sister the other day. We don't know if it's suicide or homicide, but even that, like, she always says she was fine. And that's a problem I have even for myself. I say I'm fine. I wear a smile, but sometimes I feel broken. Sometimes I feel alone, you know, juggling life. And we try to do it on our own. But having a strong support system, I think is a great help. But also speaking about it, journaling about it, letting it out, crying, like you said, some tears, you know, we hold it in, but when it's released, that's our healing. So you can continue, but I wanted to.
I love that you wear a smile when you do it, because like I don't be smiling. I think I come off as like seriously, like I think a lot of people have probably like, oh, Anais might seem mean, or like she seems like she has an attitude all the time, and it's just like I really don't know how to function with the feelings that I have, so it might come off as aggression. Now I can be very I'm very like blunt, I'll
Right.
say that. But I'm like, it's not necessarily an attitude. It's just like I get annoyed a lot quicker because I'm frustrated with my own personal things. So now, okay, just paying attention like how my tone comes across. I'm probably just annoyed and I don't know how to communicate that, like, I don't like what you're saying to me. Like how to like set that boundary in the moment as well. Like those are things that I'm also learning. So sometimes like I'm not smiling. I'm like rolling my eyes. So I'm like, I don't really want to talk to anyone right now. And like I feel like I have to show up for others, and I've been showing up for myself.
Yeah.
Right now. That like comes off as frustration for me.
Yeah.
But sometimes I am blunt, like in general, like even when I'm happy and when I'm not. But
this person is going in. They said she's very straightforward, cut and crisp. You know, and I love that, because for me, and I'm sure that's somebody you know very well.
Mm-hmm.
Recharging.you. I should bring that person on the platform. We could have up to 4 people. So if anybody want to join, by all means, just let me know. But, you know, even, I forgot what I was going to say. Handling, like, being straightforward. I appreciate that. I remember when I got interviewed for this job I have now, I told them I love transparency. I love accountability. And if I see something wrong, I'm going to say something. And people, when I worked for Brookdale Hospital for 10 plus years, they didn't like that. They were like, ugh. And I'm like, how else will we get better? How else would you know that you're wrong? Or, you know, I have to speak up. So I appreciate you being blunt and outspoken and straightforward. And people may think you are mean or whatever it is, but we go through things different. Like I said, I wear a smile on my face. You may not. Sometimes I would lock and I have 2 children, and I'm also learning a balance. Like, how can I not show that frustration? Because sometimes they feel I'm upset at them, or mommy don't love me today because she locked her door. No, I just need a moment. And that moment could be like 2 hours and then I fall asleep. But we have to find a balance, you know? And again, that's why therapy comes into play. To have a professional to give you advice, to encourage you, you know? And I asked somebody the other day, do you prefer, again, I'm a Christian, you mentioned having a relationship with God. Like, do you prefer someone that's spiritual to counsel you? Someone of the, you know, I don't know. I don't have a therapist, and I think I need one, because it's
the therapist hunts. So I'm really big on like energy. I feel like if I don't like your energy or your tone or something, I don't stick around and figure out why I don't like you.
Right.
So I think interviewing a therapist, like it took a little bit. Like I thought I like this therapist and I don't like her voice, so I hung up. I particularly wanted a male therapist.
Okay.
He's not really religious, but like he studied, I think he could have been like a priest or something. I don't know his story, but like he understands, he knows the Bible very well. I don't know if he necessarily believes in what I believe in, but he understands it. But not really, like I've had him, I think, you know, being a lawyer made me want to go to therapy more. So I think I've been going to therapy since like 2019.
Okay.
I think I've been seeing him. So I like him a lot. I think.
Oh, and this is the same therapist that you've had since 2019. Okay, beautiful.
And I think he's very I think he understands the things that like I experience, and he doesn't. I think I needed somebody to really help me be okay with not being okay with how people treat me,
right?
The things that people have said to me, or like I can be okay with not, if this is all you can give me, it doesn't have to be enough for me. And oftentimes, like I feel like women do this particularly, like well, in a dating context, well, this is all he wants to give me, and I should be satisfied with that because I want a man. No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Do that. Same thing with friendships. No, I can't do that. This job, this don't pay me enough. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I remember when I got jobs early this year, like they put the salary range now on these LinkedIn postings, and the recruiter will call you like, hey, you know, the posting was really so, I mean, I know we posted this, but you know, the salary is more about this. Are you okay with, no, I'm not okay with that. Call me back another time when another opportunity arises, but no, I'm not okay with that salary. This is my salary. Yeah. And I'm not. And to be honest, I feel like I'm like the job, it's like, should I lower my salary so I can have this opportunity and I might not even like this job? So no, it's like, I wanted more money. I go find another job. I didn't want to be a prosecutor anymore. What I did, I went and found another job. I'm not like, I can be okay with not liking this job that everyone else likes. I can be okay with not liking this person not liking this person that everyone else likes. We're a demon in everyone's story anyway. So just because person loves this person, that doesn't mean they weren't mean to me. Yeah. Just because I'm nice to my best friends doesn't mean that someone else hasn't had a bad experience to me. And just like understanding, like recognizing, you know, Anais, you're not right all the time. Because sometimes I do think I'm right all the time. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. And when I am right, I'll be like, But now I'm like, you know what? Just recognizing like I need to have a better attitude in certain situations. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times therapy doesn't work for certain people. Yeah. Because they have to be real with themselves and what they want to work on. Like if you don't think you need to work on your attitude, you're not going to work on it. You're not going to talk about it. Right. If you didn't see an issue with like you yelling at this person out of nowhere, you're gonna keep yelling at everybody else, and you're not gonna see the issue. You're gonna think everyone else is the issue. Like when you go to therapy and you listen to how people process their emotions, it's like you're the problem here in the situation. Right. It's not them, and you don't want to talk to anybody about it. Like even the way you're telling the story, it's like, why you're not telling both sides of the story? Because you know you're wrong. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, even that statement helped me when I started to share my story in regards to getting married young. I was married for 7 years, and I was accountable for my wrong. And again, I didn't want to bash the other person, but he had faults and I had faults. And that's why it just didn't work, you know, because you have to, even with that, you have to be honest with yourself. And I'm even glad you said interviewing a therapist, because you want to find somebody that's not going to say yes, yes, yes all the time. They're going to tell you when you're wrong. And you, as the client, you have to be honest with yourself, because how else would you be free? How else would you do better? And I think even for us as women of color, like give yourself grace. Don't think that you have to manage it all on your own, and even get into that place of softening maybe your tone or your attitude. Ask God to do it. He would definitely do it. For me, there's I don't know if you know Chandler Moore, but he's a gospel singer, and he has an album. It was released during COVID called Feelings. Mm-hmm. And that album helped me so much, because I'm okay to feel the way I feel. I'm okay today to not be okay. Tomorrow, I might be willing to, you know, I don't know, climb a mountain. Monday, I might not be okay again, but it's okay to not be okay. But I'm not going to stay in this place, because this is not where I belong. And even speaking life, you mentioned journaling. I remember, I think it was in 2019, I wrote an ebook, which I have to update, called I Am, Affirmations from A to Z. Speaking things into existence. You mentioned a husband, children, being called for cases that nobody else, like your name, yes, it begins with an A, but there might be someone else with an A name. But I want this name. Something about this name, I want her to be on the cover. Like you said, we know Johnny's name. For all these years, we've heard of Johnny Crockett, all these years. But I want my child to say, oh, yeah, I remember Anais Holland was on the cover of, I mean, who reads newspaper? Maybe there are newspapers still on the stand, but on the Instagram or whatever it is, CNN, it's going to happen. But we have to give ourselves grace. I think also, too, like, one of the things that is helping me in my career and my personal life from therapy is being able to recognize other people's emotions. We talk, at least social media talks a lot about like narcissism and gaslighting and I'm trying to think what else people talk about. It's so many manipulation, a lot, whatever. A lot of those behaviors are taught. Like
Mm-hmm.
wake up and be like, I'm not a scientist, but I don't think that people wake up at, like certain behaviors that you developed from observation, because there are people in your life who are narcissistic, who are abusive, who are rude. Like I've caught myself saying things that I've heard like family members saying. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. But like I've heard, kind of like felt like second nature to hear it. So now it's second nature to say
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
myself, Grace is like, you know what, this person is kind of a gaslighter, but I think somebody probably taught them that and they don't even recognize that as gaslighting, and they don't want to call it gaslighting because gaslighting has such a negative connotation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's another thing, like recognize. So learning how to give somebody grace is like, you know what, this person might not be for me, but I think they were taught to be like this. Like you were
Right.
like this. You were taught to treat your friends and family like this. And when you really start to listen to people and listen to like their story, it's like, oh, that's where that came from.
Right.
You didn't just wake up a gaslighter.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's like a diagnosed mental illness. It's just some. It's just traits that like we don't like that people have. But I'm like, they didn't wake up like this. Like these are things you observe.
Right.
So I don't want to observe this anymore in my personal life. But it's like, there are people who gaslight and they don't want to recognize it. Like,
Exactly.
because we've all done it, but we didn't call it gaslighting. And then it's like, oh, now I know that there's a word for this. I know I shouldn't be doing this. And I like, oh, am I gaslighting this person because I don't agree with how they feel about something that I said to them?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a Courtney Holland that wants to join the stage. So I think I missed her request, but I just invited her. But you're on point with that. Oh, she declined.
Oh, maybe it was an accident.
Oh, okay. All right. Any questions in the audience?
So how do you see that? I am so not a tech savvy millennial. Definitely.
So I would see it on my end since I'm hosting. And if you guys want to follow Anais, very easy on the top. Just click on that that drop down and you can easily follow Anais. Now, I know some people, even in regards to posting content, like you said, you don't post going to the gym. For some people, they find that, maybe therapeutic posting every single thing that they do. What do you feel in regards to content? How do you express yourself? I know you mentioned journaling, which is something I've been practicing since I was young.
I don't do content. So you know what the thing is, like, I have an attorney page, Anais the attorney, if you guys want to follow. But the reason why I don't do that is because, one, I feel like the world is dangerous. Like, I'm sorry, like being a prosecutor for those 3 years of my life, like I'm a little paranoid. Like, if you post the gym, like somebody's looking at you.
Yeah.
Like you look at people looking at your story, you don't know all those people. So that's one of the reasons that I don't engage like that. But I also think that I don't think there's nothing wrong with if that's that like type of self-expression, but you can't be expressing yourself for attention from others thinking that's going to help you, because then it's like defeating the purpose. Like, is it like, do you need to, you can't feel the need to express yourself to people all the time, because what happens when those people are not there? What happens if it's 12 o'clock at night and you wake up and you're stressed about something? Yeah. What if there's nobody to go on live with you? Like, I think we have to have different methods to deal with certain things, because this method that like journaling hasn't always worked. There's some things that like I just wanted to sweep it under the rug, and I don't even want to give it my attention to put it in a journal.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I read my journal entries, I'm like, oh, I made some progress. But something like I don't even want to acknowledge it in this manner. I'm gonna just pray about it and keep it moving, because like it must be really bothering me that I'm giving this much attention, and because I don't delete my journal. I know some people do that. I don't delete my journal entries. I'm proud of my progress. Things I used to write about, like I cried today, and now it's just like I had a great day today.
Yeah.
From journal entries, like I'm proud of those things. But I think another way to, it just depends. Like some days I'm like, I want to cook a lot of food. Yeah. And I want to take a trip randomly. Like I'm not much of a planner. So that'll hop on the plane and go visit a family member the same week. Okay. Rico trip, I think I got the Airbnb like the day before. Wow. Something like that. So I'm a little spontaneous at times. Right. So that's something that I like to do to express myself. I think a lot of times, like, because social media is here, we feel like we have to put everything on a platform. Yeah. And I feel that way. I mean, some people do get paid to create content, but even then, like, I have a career. Like, I don't want an attorney to go and be like, oh, I saw you're posting about so and so, how are you feeling? Because people do stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
oh,
I think they know your life because of what you posted, but then why post it if you don't want a certain response, you know? And that's me too. Like, I mean, us even having this production company, we post what's necessary. We want it to be edifying. We want it to educate. We want it to entertain, you know, but we're not going to post. And a lot of people, because we're in the age of technology and content creators and all of this, some people live for it. It might be entertaining, but is it bringing value to you? You know, and I know you also follow Chosen Veteran Publishing, and even hearing you speak and sharing your story today, like, do you see yourself publishing a story, your story?
I want to say no.
Okay.
I don't. You know what it is? Like, I've had the same friends for a very long time, right?
Okay.
Like 7th, 8th, 9th grade. And I think having really good friends, I feel comfortable sharing my story with them. I don't need the world to know every bit about me. I don't want people asking questions about me. Because I know if I see something like on Real Housewives, like I put it in a group chat and be like, oh my God, can you believe this?
Right.
I don't want that about me. I think sometimes, like, I don't want that type of energy out there. Like, I want to share my story, but in the manner that I want to share it. I don't think I even have the patience to, like, sit down in a book, to be honest with you. I really don't. Because I have to write so, like, things that, like, I do for a living is not fun to me necessarily. Okay. Like, I just started books again recently because I joined the book club last year. And then I'm like, I didn't read the book every month. But now I'm like, okay, I read, like, thrillers that have nothing to do with my life. So I don't even read, like, nonfiction. I can't do that because I'm like, I don't want to be, like, I don't want to escape for reality for me. So I don't know. And then sometimes I'm like, well, what story do I have to tell? I mean, some benefit over something that I say, but I don't know. I can't say, like, 10 years from now, but, like, in my plan that I see, I just don't see a book.
Okay. And that's fair. That is fair. I'm okay with that answer. I think some people started laughing when you said no. They may have been expecting oh yeah, I thought about it, but that is honest, you know. And again, even us doing this, you're sharing. I remember you asked me certain questions, and I'm glad you did. Like, I can't say certain things, but I'm like, say what you want, whatever you want the people to know. Because even for me sharing my story, I remember we filmed this documentary. I sat on the chair, which I wasn't supposed to be on camera. And Lamarta's in the house. Lamarta's our director, co-owner of Wingston Filbert Studios. And because I was a backup. And so this is when we first started this journey of hashtag her story. And I sat and I shared my story. And maybe I shared too much. And he started cracking up. He was like, Cliv, I never knew that. And I'm like, you wasn't supposed to. You know, so even sharing our story, like, we can share what we want in that story because there's so many chapters. You know, I have maybe 30. How old am I? I think I'm 30. I have 38 chapters. You know, I don't even want to think about my age anymore. But, you know, these chapters are lessons learned, and it's okay to maybe put it under the rug. Our closest friends know some of those chapters. Maybe I just want to share chapter 35, you know? So that's why that question was asked, because not to say your whole life story, but maybe one chapter out of your book, or even you mentoring these students at the college. Like, what can my children that are 8 and 11 years later read back from Anais, the author, and say, oh, okay, I understand how to handle the situation. Or maybe that's how she handled it. I don't think I'll ever handle it that way. You know, so I would say do it how you want, and however you want to do it, I'm sure it'll be a blessing to someone. And you're loved regardless of how you do it, if that makes sense.
Can you imagine if, like, your journal entries was published? I know people do stuff like that.
Some people do that.
I just cannot, like,
mine would be a joke.
Even, like, on content, like, even on my attorney page, there's sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to say nothing because I don't really know how to say it in, like, a proper way how I feel about this topic. So for the sake of my professionalism and my career, I'm just not going to speak on it.
Yeah.
Because this person what? Ooh, God. Like, but I know I can't say that. And I don't know how, like, I'm not in a place where, like, I'm working for myself. So I have to care.
Right.
Like, if
Exactly.
you're working for somebody else, like, things that you put online, things that you publish, it affects the firm.
Of
Your
course.
business on the side, it's going to affect the firm. So I think, like, as of now, but I might change my mind because I'm real indecisive. Like, my Libra scale is always tilting.
Hmm.
But as of now, I'm not really, I think, like, by nature, I'm kind of private.
Okay.
Like, people, but I like the people that have come in my life that make me feel comfortable, like, and make me feel seen to be able to share those things with
Yeah.
them. So I feel like I got older, like, I used to have a lot of friends. Like, I was out all the time. My friend group has gotten a lot smaller, but this is the happiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
So,
And a lot of people feel like they need to have a big circle, but
mm-mm.
sometimes all you need is a good few. Many are called, few are chosen. So it's almost one, and I think we did really, really well. I don't know if anyone in the audience have any questions for Anais. This was really good, and I hope someone grabbed something from what was said, and maybe you took notes. Maybe you want a part two of this interview with Anais. But like I said, I've heard about you on several occasions. Some things are funny because I know you guys have a friendship relationship, and like I said, I follow you, and I'm like, I like your vibe. I even prayed for you because I was told that you were hospitalized, and I'm glad you are. You're good. At least you look good. You're wearing it
Thank
well.
you.
But continue on this journey with grace. I like that word, with grace, with peace. Like you said, your circle is small, so you already know where you stand with that, and all the best in this career, because I know it's not easy, and we need more of you. We need young girls to say, you know what, I want to be like her when I grow up. Men, even men, to say, okay, this is a career I never thought I would consider, but we need more representation of ourselves. So even us as a production company, we're coming up with so many different ideas. So we may even have a platform where it might be a networking event with just us in the room. How can even for like high school students, not knowing what career path they want to take, having someone like you said, paid speaker. I don't know if we could afford you. I don't know what your figure is, what
Another thing,
price code looks like.
like, I didn't know any lawyers. So, like, even figuring out how to be a lawyer and be in law school, like, I was stressed out because I'm like, I want to be able to call somebody that's, like, I'm really, really close with. And now I have that now
Yeah.
with, like, and, like, some sorors that I know who are lawyers, but I didn't have that, like, before that. So it would have been nice to have somebody, like, kind of walk me through the process,
Right.
because I had questions and, like, figuring things out on my own. It was very, very stressful. I'm like,
Yeah.
do this? Am I doing this question right? Okay, I have to pay for this LSAT course. Well, can I afford this? It would have been nice to find. Now I'm like, there's all these programs that pay you for your LSAT tutoring and pay for like 1L prep in the summer. And I'm like, I wish I had someone to tell me about that, because my law school trajectory might have looked different. My grades,
Right.
maybe I would have been at the top of my class and had
Yeah.
more job prospects if I had someone be like, hey, no, you're supposed to be doing XYZ.
Exactly. And that's another thing. People suffer for the lack of knowledge. And as I'm on this journey I mean, the only time I used to speak was at church. Now, because of Lamar and Dwayne, they're like, nope, you got to do this. You got to speak because you got a voice. People want to hear you. I forgot my train of thought. I forgot my train of thought. People suffer for the lack of knowledge. So even as I'm learning this whole thing that I got going on here, if I learn something today, I'm going to share it because it's going to help someone else. People get information and they want it for themselves. What good is that? So even this, we want it to be where your story again would help somebody, and maybe something you said, someone is like, oh, there's a program in the summer for, to study this. Oh, there's a movie called Missing, and this girl, she did some research on her computer and her phone, and I'm like, the information that you can find is there, but then sometimes you don't even know what to search, especially if you're in a place where you just don't know. So what are your encouraging words to our audience today? And this live would be saved. Actually, I was trying to do this live streaming on another platform so we can also be on YouTube Live. Didn't work. The camera's not even working. So for now we'll stick to IG. But what is your encouragement to those on the live, those who would hear this tomorrow or years later? You want, what are your words?
Be real with yourself and what you want for yourself, and then set all those boundaries after that. Like, I think, like, setting, like, it's good practice, because you're going to need to do that when you're practicing law or doing whatever other profession. And, like, the light is at the end of the tunnel, but you can't see it all the time. And, like, sometimes you can't see it until you get there, and you just can't get discouraged. Like, sometimes you gotta rest, but you can't quit.
Yeah.
That's what a wise woman told me: rest if you must, but don't quit.
Yeah.
And I think that I take that into, like, my personal life and, like, my professional life. Like, I'm gonna close my computer. If you need to close the computer, close the computer. Your job will be okay.
Yeah.
You're a place. Like, if you need to take 5 minutes, you need to go outside and take some air, do that. Yeah. And if they're not there when you come back, you don't need to work there anyway.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate that. You guys drop some hearts.
This was so much fun. I love speaking. I do. I've been trying to speak a lot more. I really enjoy this. Yeah. I like speaking to students too, like high school students, because I'm like, a lot of them don't know, like, they kind of were like where I was, like, I don't know who to ask what to. And I think it's really important to, like, have, like, you need to, if you want somebody to be a lawyer, you want more, like, Black people in the legal profession. I'm not speaking about just minorities. I'm talking about Black people specifically. Yeah. Like, they need Black people in these fields, because exactly. How do you, like, it's not, it seems so intangible. Like, if you don't know someone that looks like you who's doing it, it doesn't seem like it's not a possibility.
Exactly.
And I'm like, no, you know what? I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure it. And I'm still figuring it out.
Right. It's a journey. It's, life is a journey, not a destination. I remember volunteering. It was in December. I'm new to Florida, so just trying to find my place there and just whatever, figuring it out. But I volunteered with this group. We went to decorate. It was at a family group home, and I didn't know what I was walking into. They wanted to decorate their homes, and so the nonprofit had boxes of different decorations. So they split us up in groups, and I ended up talking to one of the ladies that was on the board. So some conversation arrived in regards to me being an author and working with a production company, just juggling so much. And she was like, oh, you do that? So come to find out, all of the children there are Black children. So she said, it would be nice if you can come back, because then they would see someone that looks like them that has accomplished something. And I'm like, oh, yeah, good idea. So apparently these children, elementary age to high school age, I think they transfer to a different type of group home once they turn 21, mm-hmm. But they don't see Black people coming to visit them or help them decorate their houses with these families. And I'm like, wow. So she said it would good, even I mentioned it to Dwayne, I'm like, you published a book, why not get some copies? We go out there, we distribute the books for free and sit and read, so they can see not just a male reading, but a Black male. So these boys could be like, oh, there's more than just, basketball, in regards to just that stereotype of sports, like Black boys only play sports, but we are so much more than that. So much more. And our gifts would definitely make room for us. So I appreciate you. It's 1 on the dot. I have an event to attend, but I really appreciate you. I don't know if people are dropping hearts. I'm not seeing the hearts in the room.
I saw some of them.
I appreciate you. And even in regards to mentoring, like those high school students transition into whether they're going to college, trade school, or trying to figure it out, maybe we could do something via Zoom, mm-hmm. that we can invite them in and have you as a guest speaker. I would love that, because growing up in the church, I was the youth coordinator. So I was able to connect with so many of them. Today, I don't know where a lot of them are. Some of them follow me, some don't, but I think it's a really good thing when you have an idea of what to say, what they can expect, or what, just giving them some insight. And if you have a group of people that you want to bring on, I think it's something we can definitely talk about for the near future, not far future, near future, and even sitting on a couch together. I'm trying to think of the color couch that I want. I'm thinking like an olive green, because I want it to be like a nice vibe with some plants and something nice. So we'll definitely stay in touch. I appreciate you. And like I said, I know Lamar was in the house. I don't know if Dwayne is on, but our team definitely appreciates you. And I know your friends and followers that are here are proud of you. I love the comments. And, you know, I would say again, follow Anais. The easiest way is to hit that drop down and you'll see her other page. Again, I appreciate you, and I really hope we connect soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And for everyone else, be bold, be brave, and be beautiful. I, again, appreciate you guys. And it's just really been an awesome, awesome journey. And I'm going to try to do this, not try, I'm going to do this every month, just for 1 hour. That's all I need. I don't know if I like talking, but I guess I like talking. And my son loves to talk, and he's very opinionated. And I'm going to have him connect with Anais because maybe he needs to be part of your firm or something one day. But again, I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I am Clavia, the host of hashtag Her Story Talk Show. And we'll see you guys next month. I think the topic next month would be great. If you have a topic that you want us to talk about, if you want to be a guest on this platform, please hit me up. I am human. I am normal. I am easy to talk to, easy to find. Follow us, DM us. We're here for you, and we appreciate you. Bye.